Hi everyone, V for Vendetta here with Rhyme Signatures, the nerdiest music review this side of once upon a time being a respected graphic novel character before the internet got a hold of his aesthetic and did what they do. And today we are going to be doing a review of the new Sermon album of Golden Verse. Metal and costumes to hide one's true identity. Is there a more iconic combination? From the earliest days with the likes of Kiss, where face paint was what kept things secret, to the more recent and contemporary examples such as Sleep Token, Lordi, Buckethead and Ghost, it feels that more so than any other genre, the artists behind our favourite distorted axe work are more likely to shrug off the tedium of their humdrum daily lives and adopt a new and mysterious persona for their musical endeavours. So this brings us neatly to the UK-based band Sermon. Well, I say band, but this really is mostly more of a one-man show, with the exception at the moment of the drums, who are performed by James Stewart, who you may or may not know from the band Vader, and the bass being handled by Lawrence Jenner. All other instruments and vocals, though, are being handled by the deeply mysterious entity known only as him. Sporting a rather nifty-looking golden mask, Him commands an eerie and sinister presence in the promo photos for the band, and conjures up a feeling of a certain malevolence and, dare I say it, evil. So yes, aesthetically, thematically and lyrically, Sermon very much drinks deep from the cup of the occult side of metal, projecting a familiar look and feel to that of Ghost, say, for example. But while Ghost are firmly rooted themselves in the sounds of the early 70s heavy metal movement with bands like Black Sabbath, Alice Cooper and Pentagram, Sermon appear to be more influenced by contemporary progressive metal bands like Opeth, Tool, Soen, and to a lesser extent Porcupine Tree. The band came to my attention from their 2019 album Birth of the Marvelous, getting pushed at me by the delight of algorithmic recommendations, and I was almost immediately enthralled by what I was listening to. Dark and atmospheric, detailed but uncomplicated guitar work and vocals that really struck a chord deep inside me left me gagging for more. I was uncertain just how the band could possibly do better than this record though, as it really did feel like the complete package, with not a second of wasted time across its 41 minutes. It left me wondering if Sermon would be affected by the sophomore slump, and be one of those bands who blew their entire load of good ideas on their first record without considering what the hell they're going to do for part 2. Thank goodness for being hilariously, hysterically wrong. Of Golden Verse is a complete and utter show-stopping masterpiece. And not only one of the finest progressive metal albums I've ever heard, but simply one of the best albums I've ever heard. There are times when you listen to something that you just know that it is destined to be regarded as one of the all-time greats within its genre. I felt this with records like Scenes from a Memory, Colours, Blackwater Park and Deadwing when I first heard them, and I'll be honest with you all, I feel it now with Of Golden Verse. Sermon has absolutely pulled the rug out from under me with this release. Just when I thought I had a good grip on how my favourites of the year were looking so far, this geezer rolls up in his fancy golden mask, spins me around for 49 minutes of some of the most intense and haunting music I've heard, and politely asks me, "Are you sure about that top 10 so far?" So, I just want to address something really quickly that may or may not be putting some people off of this band, just from the aesthetics alone, as I can imagine there's a few people out there watching this review who might have already made some decisions, about the music just from that alone. Him doesn't really do much in the way of growling, That's one elephant out of the room. The growl-averse can proceed, although I would still recommend you proceed with caution, as while Him doesn't really growl, he does have an extremely powerful and guttural delivery with his vocals, and the closest equivalent I can think of is, imagine if Jonas Renksay, Joel Ekelof and Einar Solberg got together and universally agreed to share the best parts of each of their voices. You've got the crooning darkness of Renksay, the melodic mastery of Ekelof, and the power and fury of Solberg from his bilateral days. However you care to describe or compare him to his contemporaries, one thing is abundantly clear. Despite the immediate similarities, he is still very much his own force to be reckoned with, and he has fast become one of the strongest and most confident-sounding vocalists in modern progressive metal for me. There's such an incredible sense of passion to everything he belts out. Be it the savage Wake the Silent, or the quieter, sombre and introspective Senescence, him really does have a voice for all seasons, which only continues to make it all the more remarkable that he's doing everything on this album other than the drums and the bass. The guitars are electrifying, the bass work is dependable and groovy, and the tasteful application of keyboards for atmosphere is fantastic. Make no mistake, whilst this is primarily a guitar and vocal driven album, the side dishes of the drums, bass and keyboards are no less important, and special mention must go out to James Stewart, who absolutely rips a new one on the skins. But anyone who's ever listened to Vader in the past would already know this, but it really does feel like Stewart is letting loose with his maximum potential here, as if him has unlocked a newfound talent within. The album is well structured, with 10 tracks overall, but only really 7 full-bodied songs, as the interstitial tracks of The Great Marsh, In Black and Centre mostly serve as an atmospheric or stripped-down introduction to the songs that follow them. Now, I will admit I'm not the biggest fan of filler tracks to pad the track count on albums, and for me this is one of the incredibly few things that mar the surface of what is otherwise a borderline perfect album for me. I can forgive things though, as they are still reasonably well spaced out, and they do allow for an efficient segue into the next thematic progression of the album across its 49-minute runtime. There are honestly so many highlights on Of Golden Verse that it's difficult to really know what to talk about first. I could go on about the gripping and infectiously chantable chorus of Light the Witch, or maybe the extended drum-focused intro of The Distance. Maybe I could talk about the atmospheric and darkened keyboards of Senescence, or maybe the anthemic high-energy guitars of Golden and Departure. I had considered doing a track-by-track analysis and review like I have done on previous albums, but frankly I'm trying to keep the length of these videos down, and honestly I don't want to give too many spoilers. There are so many little moments on this whole record that I want to just excitedly talk about with other people though. This is an album that's got me wanting to gush, to show it off, to insist that people stop what they're doing right now and at least give a track like Golden a shot, and if they like that, then, you know, spin the rest of the album, because you probably love it. There have been moments in my musical listening career where I'm reminded of precisely why it is that music is so important to me, and precisely why I spend such a large portion of my free time listening to it in so much more than just a regular way. This album, this band, has made me excited about music, and when you listen to as much stuff as I do, it often takes something truly special to stand out and make me as excited as this. So please take it from me when I tell you that Of Golden Verse is this sort of album. This feels like it has the potential to be such a conversation piece, like it's that one little secret between you and your friends, that magical moment that you wish you could just share to everyone and hope that they enjoy it as much as you do. And honestly, that's really just my goal here. I just want people to hear this record. Now, I appreciate this isn't going to be for everyone, but, you know, that's just music for you. Not everything will reach everyone in the same way. I can imagine some of you walking away after having watched this review, giving a listen to this and thinking, the hell is that beardy Goldilocks talking about? This is complete trash. And if you think that, you know, that's absolutely fine, as all I'm asking you to do is give this one a shot. This record really feels like it has set the new standard for what I'm actually looking for from new music, and frankly I feel sorry for everything else that's adjacent to Sermon's sound right now, as a new king has truly arrived. So, what else can I say about Sermon's Of Golden Verse? In case you hadn't already figured it out from the non-stop praise I've been doling out, this record absolutely F-bombs. This is one of the most exciting and engaging things I've listened to since An Abstract Illusion's Woe from last year, which rode extremely high in my top 15 records of 2022. I am expecting a similarly high position for Of Golden Verse for 2023's year-end list, and while yes, it is indeed early days and anything can happen, if you were to ask me right now what my number one pick of the year was, I'd say that Ne Obliviscaris and The World Is Quiet Here should be sweating nervously for their previously rock-solid positions at the top end of the list. It goes without saying then here that I think you should absolutely pick this one up in physical format. This kind of bold, creative, fearless craftsmanship should be championed and hoisted onto the shoulders of giants, and while the very nature of the band might make any touring difficult, the least we can do is support him and his endeavours as best we can by buying the CD. This is all, of course, just my opinion, guys, so if you have listened to this one as well, please tell me what you thought about it in the comments down below. If there's anything else coming out this year you think I should check out, then please do let me know about it. I'd love to get around to maybe giving it my own thoughts. If you did like this video, please do share it around with anyone else who you think would enjoy it, and please do consider subscribing for some more content. If you really like what I do, also please do consider clicking my Ko-fi link in the description box down below to help support the channel. And until next time, guys, keep your rhyme signatures odd.